Welcome once again to the newest edition of 3 and 3 Out, the most unique Seahawks recap show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner. I am joined by the one, the only, the great Brandon Schultz. Brandon, I am back from a Florida NFL trip with my boys. Johnny Parmesan was there. OPP was there. Vincenzo was there. My boy Romano was there. Yes, these are real people with real names from my boyhood, from my Yukon hood. But my Seahawk hood, Brandon, I went into the belly of the beast. I went to a bar where we were 0-6 in my lifetime. 0-6, but it's my favorite bar in Siesta Key. And I stared it down, Brandon. I said, not today, Satan. Not today. We're going to take this one home. Our Seahawks, 37-9. Now I got the W in that bar, which means I could go back, and that makes me so happy. How are you, buddy?
You finally broke the curse. Oh my gosh. Thank goodness. Because at halftime, I think you probably had, I don't know, a half dozen of the flockers saying, Clinton, where are you right now? And is it the bar that you've doomed us with so many times before? And the answer was yes. And you stayed there anyway, and you toughed it out. And congratulations.
Thank you. I did it for us. And, you know, they have the best BLT dip they have this dish, which is chips and tortilla pitas. And it's this BLT dip that tastes like you're dipping the best bite of the cheesiest BLT every 2 seconds. And I love it. And turns out they took it off the menu, right? So that wasn't there. So that was a disaster. At halftime,
maybe that was the reason. Maybe that was enough change that was needed.
Maybe that was it.
To turn around.
A sacrifice, right? So I was so close at halftime to leaving that bar. I was like, I gotta go. It's me. I have to go. And then we ordered mudslides because that's a thing 5 dudes do. And we ordered mudslides. And as soon as we started sipping those mudslides, Shahid, 100 yards to the house, the whole thing turns around. So no BLT dip. Yes to mudslides. Yes to our Seahawks going 10-3. This is 3 and 3 out. We are going to do some film review, and obviously we're going to have some fun while we do it. How was your Sunday? How was the Discord, the flock? How did it all go?
It was good. I had 0 mudslides, so but now I'm starting to think that maybe that's the key. Maybe we all just need to start our mornings on those East Coast games with mudslides, and everything will be better. So, like Carly Perkins is saying, that yes, the first half is your fault. You didn't mudslide early enough.
That's obviously it. So my promise to the flock is next year on this NFL boys trip, I will mudslide. Basically, I'll even have my cereal with mudslides. I will sacrifice for the greater Hawkra, always and forever. So this is 3 and 3 out, Brandon. We are going to go through 3 of the really coolest micro moment plays of the day. Not the biggest stuff, and even if it is big stuff, it's the play within the plays. And we're going to look at some of the outsides of the ledger because wasn't all roses, certainly early on, but as I rewatched this game, there was a lot more good than bad, even in the first half, Brandon. Yes, it was a little sluggish to get going, but there's a couple of drives where we just kind of stall out. We kind of peter out. Plus, we were like starting at the 10-yard line, the 5-yard line. You know, the field position was very tilted against us until it wasn't. And then it was a blowout, and the route was on. So it was a really fun day. So we're excited to do all this. We see something exciting on screen here.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Shane Turner Acoustic coming in with a $2.99 super chat saying, thanks, legends, 2 games in 1.
Absolutely.
We had the first half, which kind of stunk. We had the second half, which was awesome. I'm still kind of leaning toward Kubiak being in the game plan, maybe not being the best to start it out. But You know what? It's hard to be too critical when you end up blowing out a team. Like, were they just being conservative and letting them, were they feeling out that Falcons defense before then just sticking it to them?
Yeah. Well, we started the game with the Cliff Kingsbury horizontal raid. That was a choice, right? So I was like, okay, cool.
And that was what bothered me the most.
Right.
Like, why are we doing the Cliff Kingsbury thing?
We're at the 10, so let's throw the ball to the side, then throw the ball to the side, and then we go on from there. But we do have lots to cover. So we are 10-3. I had a lot of fun making this thumbnail. Simple, but maybe rather radiant. So what a cool picture. Seahawks defense is just incredible. This is, I'm sitting there with 5 other football fans that are all watching the different teams. None of them are Seahawks fans. There's a Cowboys fan there, Patriots fan, Packers fan, and Giants fan, right? So, and they're all and they're all pretty good NFL fans, pretty good to very good. They know their teams, and they're watching our team, and their conclusion is like, this is the best defense in the league. This, the outside conclusion, like this is the best D. This is a legitimate Super Bowl contending defense. We know our audience knows that, but watching a Green Bay Packers fan, chug a mudslide with me going like, you guys are legit. It kind of means something, especially when it comes from Johnny Parmesan. So we are 10-3. We are going to get to lots of really, really fun stuff today. Of course, if you're here, we want to encourage you to subscribe out on YouTube, youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast. Another real fun thing we do out there is we're always putting little polls out on YouTube. Asked this one just a couple of hours ago, Brandon. We only got 4 games to go. We said our Seahawks will go blank in the next 4 games. And of course, that, record wise, 1-3, 2-2, 3-1, or 4-0. Brandon, how are the Flockers voting so far?
They're voting correctly, with 57% saying 4-0. Like that seems like the obvious answer, right? But 3-1 also right there with 34%, and 2-2, 9% going with that, which is I think what Adam said post game, and so he's part of the 9%. So there's some folks that are maybe a little pessimistic, but yeah, over the next 4 games, I wonder. So this was today. So this was post Phillip Rivers news.
Yeah,
being signed to the Indianapolis Colts.
That what we talked about choices earlier, right? So there's a lot of life choices going on there for the 44-year-old and for the Colts franchise. Kind of just goes to show you. I mean, look, it just goes to show you good quarterbacking, or at least knowledgeable quarterbacking. I mean, he's 44. What can he actually do at this point? But it'll be interesting. And I guess my question for you is, do you actually expect him? He signed. Do you think they just let him start over Rippon? I mean, it's not, they're not good choices. I don't think.
I mean, gosh, I think if I'm going to who would you be more worried to see? I'd say Phillip Rivers.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, he's also destroyed us a couple times, right? These were Pete Carroll teams, of course, literally a different era, but he carved us up a couple times. He really solved Seattle a few times out, even in our heyday, right? Now we're into a new heyday, but if given the choice of a 44-year-old Rivers or Rippon, whatever, no, Rivers is still, I think, a more competent quarterback, as long as his arm doesn't just fall off.
He's he's been out of the game for a while, so
it's crazy.
It's weird that it has to be like such a top up. Like that's how bad like Brett Rippon is. Like it's like, oh yeah, the old guy who hasn't played for 5 years versus, you know, the guy who's kind of been around the league a little bit, but is their practice squad quarterback. So Marlon saying he's not playing unless injuries. I guess we'll see.
We'll see. But, I mean, if that's I don't know if that's conjecture or if that is, you know, what people are saying out there that are whatever the beat folks, if that's like he's only going to be like a backup, the third stringer, et cetera, et cetera. Either way,
a good comment here by Shane Turner. Yeah. Ask Rivers to pick the toys up off the floor at home so we can see his old man back in full effect. Like, we need to know how old is, because at 44, every mid 40s dude probably knows exactly what Shane Turner is talking about here.
It has happened to me. So even with the 2-2, even 9% is a little shocking to me. It's a little too many. You know, maybe there's some haters coming into there and voting on this poll that's still on screen.
It's not that far off. We face two NFC West division opponents that have already beaten us.
I know we got to win. We got to win one of them. I'm just saying.
So that's what I'm saying. 2-2 would be the two losses you would.
It would be.
Right?
I would think so. It'd be disappointing. I mean, Carolina's playing some good football. Look, Carolina. Hey, how good is Carolina? They did not even have to play. And yet the Buccaneers lose to the Saints at home. What the heck was that? By the way, I was about an hour away from that game, so people were not too happy watching it from a bar in Florida. They were not too happy about that, of course. But I mean, if we go 2-2 and we beat the Panthers, who are okay, and then the Colts, who are at this point with no quarterback, that's going to be very disappointing, extremely disappointing. But we are not here to talk about the disappointing stuff. It is 3-3 out, Brandon. I had to travel to Florida. There was some mess ups with my baggage, and I made it home fine. No complaining. A lot of fun. I was sitting in the Gulf yesterday with my toes in the sand and my feet in the water, and getting some great vitamin D at 81 degrees before flying home. So no complaints. But I did lose the sticky note, Brandon. I need help. I know there's a rule. I forget the rule. Please help me, buddy.
Yeah, there was somebody in the comments, Drew Beatty was saying, please add the Colts to one of the outs. But the thing is that we don't start with outs when we win, because when we win, we start with an in.
We start with an in. Let's whammy it, bud. I kind of want to just do, when you get like a bunch of 40 something. Yeah, well, little bushwhackers, maybe, little bushwhackers. We were kind of lot of WWF talk this week because, again, you get dudes of our age together and lo and behold, you end up talking about the Junkyard Dog. You just do, right? So it just happens. So
Ultimate Warrior.
Little Warrior. We were like thinking Big John Studd, Hillbilly Jim. We were kind of going through all those dudes who were kind of that era, that age just before Warrior.
Not enough wrestlers nowadays carry 2x4s around, which is a little disappointing.
Agreed. I completely agree. But our Seahawks carried some 2x4s out there, bringing their hats every single week. We got in one early in the game, Q1, 7:21 to go. It's a 3rd and 3. And at this point, we have done little, and the Falcons have, driven the ball at least a little better than we have at this point. And it's us. They're on our 12-yard line, 3rd and 3. And I don't think there's too much of a hidden message in this one. I called it Job well done, so I'm sure you know who we're going to highlight.
I feel like this is leaning toward our corner, Josh Jobe.
Right. This is about Tariq Woolen.
Something about this clue.
Something about this clue. So here we go. Let's set it up for the folks that are maybe listening. So we're highlighting Jobe, basically down screen towards us. He's isolated out there. Falcons got like 4 wide, a little 2x2, and Bijan set. Cousins is in a shotgun, and Bijan is off his hip to the right side. What are you going to see? Again, it's 3rd and 3. And the Falcons have been kind of matriculating the ball downfield a little bit. And it's starting to get a little like, oh boy, what's going on with this game a little early on the road. This is a beautiful play. We'll show it here with Jobe just understanding this. You got to take chances at the right times. And he jumps this and we'll play it forward. Just great break on the ball from Jobe. And we'll see it play through a few times here too, with a bit of a better angle. And I mean, he elevates Brandon, and I think I got one more shot of it as well with a little slow-mo. Yeah, he elevates at the right time, leans in, bats this down. Great job by Jobe. Obviously, Eman, Spoon, Tariq, Love, right? Tons of great stuff from the DBs. I listened to a ton of different shows after, including, of course, the Seahawks pod recap. Not too many people talking about Jobe. I thought early in the game, this was a big play. What do you think?
Yeah, this was a play that generally is a go-to play for an offense to pick up an easy first down because usually you can count on your receiver making it to that sideline before the defensive back can make that quick break on the ball. And you see Jobe recognize that early, make the break on it, and then swat it down just as it would have been a first down had he not had that excellent tight coverage there.
Yeah, I mean, earlier almost had one that was going to cover in the first drive when Love does that awesome job covering Pitts downfield where he's beat a little bit, but he kind of face guards him, but never ever touches him, and that breaks up another play there, another 3rd down. So very early on, while we were giving up some first downs, we were coming up with the big plays when they kind of mattered most, and holding a team like the Falcons to 3 instead of 7, obviously was really nice because they only scored 3 field goals and never even got in the end zone. Brandon.
Josh Jobe on the day targeted 4 times, only 1 reception, and it was only for 5 yards.
Yeah. Can't argue with any of that. Love all that. Goodbye, Jobe. Goodbye, our Seahawks. All right, let us whammy and move this thing right along. Okay. Well, like I said, not all roses, even though we've been 37-9. Last week was, all ins, all crunch berries, but, not this week. Out one, I'm going to call this one double crossed. That actually, I think, it actually took place before the play we just viewed, so it's not in chronological order. But Q1, 10-10, 3rd and 12, Seattle's on our own 9-yard line. Brandon, this is after we throw the wide receiver screen to JSN for negative yards, and then a flare route to K9 for negative yards, setting us up for a 3rd and 12. And I think you probably could get and read between the lines here as to who we're going to highlight.
Yeah, we're going to look at Charles Cross here, and he was matched up on the outside. Really, neither tackle had a great day.
Yeah.
And you can see here, he holds it relatively well initially, and then the defender just makes a really nice move with his hands that to where Cross loses that leverage, and then he gets beat around the outside, which is a big bummer because he had Zabel there blocking nobody. And so all he has to do is not get beat outside. But of course, that's where he gets beat.
Yeah. And Zabel is, at least staring down I think it's the linebacker there, right? Who kind of just, feints the blitz.
And there's also the potential stunt there. That,
of course.
That because they initially only rush 3 and they kind of have the other guy, let's see, what was it, number 11, who's just kind of spying Darnold there. And yeah, so you got the 2 tackles almost getting beat at the same time. Lucas, not quite. Yeah, he holds it well
Lucas
enough.
Lucas does okay. I think Lucas is fine because he gets to his point and the Falcon does not kind of progress past him. Yeah. Cross, this is James Pierce, by the way. James Pierce now this is his 5th game in a row with a sack. I think Pierce is the dude who ultimately the Falcons, I know the Falcons took 2 edges in the first round. I believe Pierce is the one that they traded the pick out with the Rams and then moved back in to get. I believe that's correct. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody out there. Either way, I like to think it is. I like to think, because we know that the Rams are getting the Falcons' first pick. So good for them if they actually did get a player. But Pierce, you did mention the hand fighting here. He does do a nice, first comes inside, it pause it right there. Then you see some really cool, just mature hand movements for a rookie edge guy. And he ends up getting Cross to narrow his base quite a bit with his next step. Like, he's okay at first. He narrows his base. Then he could push him back and move around him and kind of swim to the outside. It's a nice rush by a rookie. The challenge is you don't love seeing this from your fourth year left tackle. And, the last couple of weeks, Cross has gotten beaten pretty cleanly a few times. Overall, he's having a good season. We're 10-3. Our pass pro is a lot better, but 3-3 out is what it is, Brandon.
Man, I would have loved it too if Sharps just takes. I know he was breaking out because he felt like, okay, it's time for me to.
Right.
There's nobody for me to pick up for the blitz. I need to get outside. Man, if he would have just got a little bit of a hand as he went around Cross on 27 there.
Yeah.
That I think that would have made the difference. And then Pierce isn't quite able to get around Cross the way that he does, but.
Yeah, well, the other part of that too is, and I wonder what the running back is supposed to be reading, because he is hanging there, but then he is seeing that they did the simulated pressure, like the linebacker is staying home. So, and you could see that's what Sharps is kind of looking at. So it's like, okay, I could go leak out, but he has nowhere to go. He's going to the flat, but the linebackers.
Oh yeah, he would have been there to cover him too.
Yeah,
but
he's not
still. If you toss it out there real quick, Sharps has a chance to make.
Hey, 101's better than getting sacked at the half-yard line, right? So totally agree. I'm just making the point that your point is a good one. That hey, Sharps could maybe have recognized, okay, my guy just got beat. I could chip a little bit. Even if I want to get out to the flats, I could do a little something more. So it's disappointing, but it is okay. These things really got cleaned up quite a bit in this. Obviously, we know it's kind of a tale of two halves, but it got cleaned up. That our second drive, our field goal drive, we don't end up with 7, but that was a good drive. That was a fine drive where Darnold has, I think it's the big third down reception to JSN in that second drive, and we end up I think it's the 10-yard line in that one, right? So just didn't punch it in. And then of course in the third and fourth quarter, all we did was punch it in for 6. So things got better, but that's how it goes on 3-3 out. But Brandon, we got more ins to get to. What do you think what do you say we do it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Gonna keep adding to it. All right. So look, it'd be criminal to not at least talk about something that Emmanwori did. I know it's 3 in, 3 out, and we try to avoid the superstar stuff. But there were so many plays by Emmanwori that I could find one that maybe wasn't the absolute sizzling highlight reel one that was still really, really cool. And I think we did here. So we got Q2, 9:03 to go. It's a 3-3 ball game. 1st and 17, which is cool. We like that. And Atlanta's at Seattle's 37. Brandon, obviously, this is an Emmanwori play, but I'm saying it's not the biggest sizzle. Do you have any guesses as to which one it might be?
Ooh, a Q2 Emmanwori play on a 1st and 17? I think this is a PBU.
Okay. Well, PU, bad guess. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's a tough
I don't
game.
remember him taking a soul, so I
yeah, no soul taking.
Other than the one where he upended the running back a little bit, but that was also a little bit more on the running back, like going into the air in the backfield. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that was against Algier. That was like, I think it's like a play or two right after this play. He had a series where it was like, oh my goodness. What I liked here, and you see it highlighted on screen, he's again down the box. Sorry, the screen's a little funky. It's actually showing him there, but that's okay. Play forward real quick and you'll see him. Okay, there we go. Easier to see that way. So he's kind of down the box there. What's neat about this is he has to work he has to go quite really horizontal down the line with incredible speed here. So I think Bijan's about to get an inside draw from Cousins, who's in shotgun. It's going to head left. Now Peely is attempting to cross the face of the center as the nose. And he does a pretty good job. The center actually, I think, wins that battle, but there's like a small canal between Jones and Peely. And that's what I want folks to focus on. Like how quickly he gets through that space, he kind of recognizes how long does he have to go horizontal before he could turn up to make this play. And it's just really instinctive, really kind of cool, and he really chases Bijan down that way. I want to show that angle again because I like this angle here. And it's like right here, right? Pause it right here. He's kind of going through a gap and he just realizes he's basically running parallel to the sideline. He's just literally just running towards the sideline here. And he just realizes he's got to go a bit further and then be able to bend it and turn it up. I thought this was, the athleticism always shows out, but this is also the instinctiveness. And I don't know what else you would say about this besides just darn good football, Brandon.
Nice athleticism by Nick Emmanwori there. Some really nice. Oh, is my mic freaking out? What's going on?
Little clippy.
But I also want to point out Peely too. The way that his strength matches up then with number 71, like he's really. That's what helps Emmanwori be able to make that play too.
Yeah. So Peely kind of turns him with just his. If you're watching it on YouTube, again, this is I know we have a large audio audience, but this show is really more geared to the visual. So heading out to YouTube to watch it. But you're right. Peely is just turning him with just like his left punch, right? He's hitting the right guard in that right guard's right shoulder and turning him and creating this little bit of a lane for Emmanwori to cut through. So it is this nice 1-2 punch there. And just well done. And on the other side of it too, even if Emmanwori couldn't get through, it looks like Drake is right there on the right side with Murphy. Like they held up and they're winning also.
Yeah.
And some others on the edge there as well. So just well defended. Hey, we're a very, very good run defense.
Yeah, that ends up being the tackle that he takes on along with the tight end and holds him off too. So
is that Murphy you mean or who?
No, Peely isn't.
Peely. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, both. Yep. Okay. I didn't know if you bounced to a different dude. Yeah. So, we are, hey man, the run defense is stellar. And when you got a player that is a safety who's kind of playing a de facto linebacker, et cetera, this is what you could free them up and give them lanes to be instinctive. I saw a really good shout out to Dan Viennes. So a really good Dan Viennes tweet during this game. And he kind of was postulating, is Emmanwori is he what Pete Carroll thought Jamal Adams kind of was going to be, and what Schneider and Jamal Adams thought they were going to get. And I thought that was a pretty cool thought, because I think fundamentally the answer is kind of yes. Yeah, this is what they wanted from Adams before injuries and maybe before maybe just with the personnel that was there when Adams was here was not quite as strong either.
Yeah, tough to compare him to Cam Chancellor, as legendary as he was. So that probably aligns more with maybe the type of player that they were looking for with Jamal. And yeah, gosh, Jamal was so good coming off the edge, though, and he had the great sack season. But Jamal was not as good in coverage as Emmanwori is. So that's one bonus you get with number 3 here.
Yeah, for sure. Love it. So Emmanwori, I mean, geez, we all know the game he had. I think we probably all saw the stat with like the combination of things that he did has basically never been done before. So look, I will continue to say and how wrong I was on draft day about Emmanwori. So thank goodness, because I'm very happy I'm wrong. Brandon, we got to get to an out. Not happy about that, but we got a job to do. Okay. All right. Here's one we got to get to. Calling this one, dang it, Bobby. So it's out to Q2, 11:23. It's only a 3-3 ball game at this point. 1st and 10, and we are on, once again, we're on our own 10-yard line. Falcons did a good job of pinning us deep. Now, the reason I'm calling out, well, let's see. Who do you think this is about if it's dang it, Bobby?
Oh, gosh. Do we even... every time I hear Bobby, I think of Bobby Wagner.
Look at the way it's spelled. Look at the way Bobby is spelled.
Bobby,
There's
like
Bobbie.
So this is Robbie.
This is Robbie. Yeah. Of course, Roberts and Bobbert and all that. It's they kind of get swapped, right? So this is about Robbie Ouzts. And what we're going to see here is the reason I'm calling, I need outs first of all, but the reason I'm calling Robbie out on this one is because there was that Charbonnet run, which is like a 27-yard run in the drive where we got the 3 points. Really nice run. On that play, I thought for sure Robbie Ouzts held his guy. We got away with it, but he extends his arm. He does not have to. And I think it's a linebacker that he spins him, and Sharps, kind of sneaks through and goes off for an explosive run. Nice run by Sharps, credit where due. But I was sitting next to my friend OPP, and I was like, whoa, we got away with a hold right there. And he's like, yeah, you did. Now, just a couple of plays later, I'm going to highlight Ouzts here. The thing that I want to talk to the audience about and the flockers about is like, look, sometimes you don't got to do this. Like what you're going to see is the guy that he's intending to block goes to Ouzts' outside. This play is meant to be run up the middle, basically between the tackles or just off tackle. So for Ouzts to then reach out and you'll see it here, spin his guy again with his left arm, it's just not needed. I want the rookie I'm sure he's getting taught about this. It's like, man, your guy took the easy route. He's jumping to the outside on an inside run. Just stand there. You're not going to catch K9. K9's your part of the job is over. Don't reach for this guy with your open arm and then spin him. So a very, very clear hold. The other frustrating part for me, and I think other Seahawks fans, is so many of K9's best runs this year, or just good runs like this, they get called back and they have nothing to do with the play. It's like that dude is not making this tackle on K9, Brandon, not at all.
I am so mad if I'm Anthony Bradford on this play, because watch him pull, then actually hits this guy after moving and gets him moving backward. And then you got, Ouzts doing the Bradford thing.
Yeah. Good call. Great call. Nice to give Bradford some love too, right? He's playing better football. His pass pro is quite a bit better. But seeing him do this in the run game, where a couple of weeks ago when we were like, hey, if he's going horizontal, he's really not getting there, and he's losing speed and he's losing balance. But really nice to see, like you just called out here.
He moves horizontally and he lines his dude up and he puts a hit on him.
Yeah.
And that's what helps bring that K9 run up the middle too. I wish they would have run more up the middle.
I know. Yeah.
Because gosh, I know everybody bangs on the PFF grades, and we had some comments about Emmanwori because he was ranked relatively low. But you look at some of the guards, and Anthony Bradford, one of the top graded offensive linemen. And I think it was because of this matchup. And that was one that we looked at coming into this game going, this is a team that you can really, I think, out physical their interior of that defensive line. And it showed up. And some of the grades. You saw Zabel with a really nice block there on the run block. You saw there
Well,
were a
they got
couple
Cross
times where
and
Odu
Barner,
had
yep.
some really nice.
Yeah, for sure. We got Cross and Barner, like they've got the duo block. So they're washing their guy out. This is just a nicely executed play. And like you said, we want to be able to run the ball up the middle more. And this is the team with their noses and stuff and their defensive tackles that you really feel like you absolutely can do that. So, so again, we're seeing that. So the thing here is we're hoping that Ouzts can get the lesson learned here, make sure that he does not do this again, so we're not costing ourselves some precious runs. All right, that is out number 2. We got some more ins to get to. I'm going to keep on rocking and rolling while Brandon gets back in, and we'll bring this up on stage here. And there it is. We got out in number 3. Sorry, we're going to call this one Captain Destroy. I'm going to give Brandon a second to see if he could hop back in. And let me see if I could pull him back in or not. Brandon, how you doing so far? Muted, it says, but are you able to? Is it working yet? If not, we could take some stuff from the audience.
All right,
you're back.
Are we whammying?
You know what? It's a bit of a false start on me now. I say we still whammy. I say it's an in. Let's celebrate. There we go. I'll even do that. All right.
Back on track. Here we go.
Back on track. Here we go. Hey, folks, it's a live show. What can you do? All right. I'm calling this one in 3, Captain Destroyo. And you might not know who that is yet because I just made it up, but that's okay. It's Q4, 11:38 to go. 3rd and 7. Atlanta is on their own 38-yard line. At this point, the game's out of hand, but it does not mean that we're not about to see what I think was the play of the game from who I think was the player of the game, and that person is not even Nick Emmanwori. So a lot of breadcrumbs there for you because I don't think you're going to get it with just Destroyo. But if I'm saying the player of the game, not named Nick Emmanwori, who do you think we're talking about?
Ooh, Devin Witherspoon.
Gotta be, right? Has to be. Got to be Spoon.
Yeah.
It's Spoon. I mean, look, this play, I just want to kind of, before we get going, I'll pause it right here. So setting it up for folks, Cousins and shotgun, what else is new? They kind of got like a trips right, an ISO left, and they're going to try like a little, I think it's intended to be a little tight end screen to Pitts. Pitts was the only dude who could really do anything all day long. By the way, I just keep on, like, I don't care if it's Gunnar Helm or if it's TJ Hawkinson or if it's Kyle Pitts, like whatever. If the tight ends are the only dudes who can get really a decent days in receiving yards, but the teams do nothing, I don't care. Some people are wringing their hands like, oh man, Pitts, how come tight ends keep racking stuff up? Because the wideouts are doing nothing and they can't run the ball like these teams. So it's fine. Ball's got to go somewhere. So here they do intend, I think, a little wide receiver screen to Pitts. And this is just Witherspoon making what I thought was the best play on the day. It results in his interception. Brandon, let's watch it. I mean, what is going on here? Like, this is a very deserved interception. He had one in his career, right? One in his career, which was a pick back to the house versus Daniel Jones, a big rookie season. Now this is number 2. So Brandon, what are you seeing from Spoon here, and why is it amazing?
I just wonder if Derek Hall gets an assist on this, or if it's like in volleyball, like yes, he's the one who set up the spike, because I think he shovels it right into Witherspoon's arm somehow. And I've watched this play so many times, and every time I'm watching Hall and trying to figure out how he doesn't come away with the ball and how it ends up in Witherspoon's arms. And I think it's he feeds Witherspoon, and that's how it happens.
Yeah, ironic to feed the spoon, but yeah, great effort all around. And McDonald keeps saying that line, like, ball finds energy or energy finds the ball, right? And that's probably the Hall aspect of this is ball's bad in the air and Hall is on it, and it just kind of just somehow, some way bounces back to Spoon.
The way that he fights through Pitts so there good, right? to get to the receiver, and some great energy there. He comes away with the ball. Witherspoon had 5 stops on the day, which was 2 more than any other Seahawk. And he had 6 targets, 4 receptions allowed, but only 30 yards of receptions against him. So, yeah, between his quarterback hits, between his stops, very nice game by Spoon.
Yeah, and it was you're right. He's fighting through for Pitts. It's a wide receiver screen with Pitts as a blocker. So I was a little incorrect before. But as you said, even more impressive because he's not fighting through a wide receiver. He's fighting through a tight end, albeit a move tight end in the NFL. And he's, by the way, he's held egregiously, right? He is like wrangled by the horse collar essentially by Pitts and still fights through that, makes the play, causes basically the deflection, then gets the Karch Cry assist and ends up with that pick. Emmanwori was amazing, and he might have been the player of the game. And yet my peepers told me Spoon was actually like A1. Now, hey, we got both of them, so that's cool. I think overall, Brandon, this is the fully operational battle station, right? It's like, oh my gosh, we have them all. We collected them all. They're all out there at the same time. Love was back, and still Okada played well when he had to get in there. But this defense, man, there's these rumblings how it's different than the Legion of Boom, but perhaps in some ways, I know that's a legendary team that won the whole thing, so we can't get too ahead of ourselves. But in some ways, could this defense be better?
It has the potential to be better, and I just know that it's just as fun to watch. Like if I think back to those 2012, 2013, 2014 years, it was when the defense was on the field where it seemed like there was the most potential for fun.
Yeah, right. I love that. It's kind of, you said it very well, so I'm not going to add anything to it. This is a beautiful play by Spoon. Loved it so much, and just love the fact that he gets his second career INT. Let's get a few more for Spoon this year, especially the way McDonald has these dudes flying around. It would not shock me because interceptions sometimes come in bunches. So why not some honey bunches of oats, and let's get Spoon one or two more. All right, we got one more out, Brandon. It's the way it ends because we start with an in, but that's okay because we won. Let's get to it. Okay, we got to go way back to the beginning. I watched the whole rewatch. And usually I try to keep them somewhat chronological. It's like, okay, the game's moving along, so let's show something later. Watch the whole thing. I'm like, there's some stuff here, but there wasn't all that much from the outside of the ledger, especially once it got into the second half. So I went back earlier in the match, Q1, 421, 2nd and 10. Seattle is on Atlanta's 31. It's 3-0. Falcons still at this point, calling it Caller Oops. Caller up to me, Brandon, I'm not going to quiz you because obviously we know who it is. Caller up to me is kind of hit and miss. And I realize maybe that's fine for what is a third,
TE4?
Well, I would almost put him at TE3 from a blocking perspective, and Arroyo is supposedly a move. But yeah, for a TE4, but a dude who made the 53, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine that he is hit and miss. But one to highlight here is, he's supposed to be known for his blocking. And last week he had a couple where I thought he missed, and then I thought he succeeded. Here, he kind of just gets worked. Yeah. He really gets turned to the inside. Poor Kenneth Walker. I've never seen a dude have to work so hard for a -2 yard run in my life. But a little bit of kind of poor positioning. He gets turned around, and then he gets outbodied. Didn't love what I saw here. It is the last out, but man, for a blocking tight end, I'm kind of happy. Maybe Eric Saubert, I think, is making his way back.
Yeah, that might be ideal. He's just out of position in that one. Yeah. Which is, it's weird as we talk about some of the grades sometimes, because you might have found the one negative play for Callerup, because as I'm looking, as you talk about some of these guys, I want to say, oh, well, what did PFF think of him?
Sure.
Nick Callerup was the highest graded player on the Seahawks offense.
That's so PFF. Funny.
It's like, what happened?
Right. That's funny. And this is sometimes when I'm like, oh boy, and I almost feel bad about it. Right. It's like, oh, poor Nick. He doesn't need this from me. Certainly. I played tight end in high school too. badly, right? So I'm sure he's done quite a bit better. That is certainly true. But it's funny that he graded out so high. Maybe I just found the one, but it
You
stood
might have
out to
found
me.
the one because he was in there for 21 run blocking snaps, and he did get an 80 grade. So that would line up with, because this is obviously a negative play, but it may be the one.
Okay.
So,
Well, you know what? I think we leave it there and say it was a third out. We had to follow the rules this week. No oops, all crunch berries and all ins. So we had to find one. We called it out. It's a nit. And then Nick Caller up. Look, if he is hit and miss, that means his next one will be a hit, or maybe all the other ones were hits. And he's doing a heck of a job. So, but Brandon, when we start with an in, when we win, we not only start with an in, but of course we get that delightful and often delicious brand in. It is your turn. Please whammy, sir, so we get on to what you're going to highlight for us. All right, Brandon. So we were texting before we got on the air here, and we were going through a couple of possibilities, and then you landed on one, and I like it. Take it away.
well, I think that there was just one key play to me that stands up above all the others, and it is the kickoff to start the beginning of the second half. And we heard a lot of players crediting Coach McDonald with the fact that he was calling for a kick return to start off the second half. And we got Brady Russell, who is lined up here toward the middle of the field. And look at that. He is the one who I believe, if I'm going to credit someone with springing the block for Shaheed on this one, it is right there where he provides that open lane, and you get one guy diving with one arm trying to just arm tackle Shaheed as he is bursting through that hole. He has no chance. It is Brady Russell who springs this, and he gets my brand in.
Love it, because it's clear as day. The video shows it that is they'll do their job, but without the Brady block, this is a nice run back, or he's probably getting tackled at like the 30 or 35 yard line, maybe carrying forward. But with that block, it's 100 yards into the house, and this game just changes. Brady works his man horizontally for a good 3.5, 4 yards. Like, he just wins and continuously wins, and it's enough of a window. And I think when I say 3.5 yards, they all matter, because Shaheed kind of had to stick to, kind of off his hip, because you did have that dude flying in, right? He kind of needed all that space to make this work. So we didn't have to go too much into the dude's lane who was leaving his feet to try and make a Tecmo Bowl style mash the B button tackle. And, we see Shaheed just break it. Look, we talked about this in the What If show. We talked about this. You guys talked about it during the week. Falcons special teams is bad. We've been very good. Jay's going to get at least one more week at this. And one of the reasons we gave up a 4th and a 5th round pick, which is pretty good compensation for Shaheed, was absolutely the special teams. Now, in addition to that, we also got to see Shaheed's most complete game as a wide receiver. So that was kind of cool too, Brandon.
Yeah. And we got Yokai Hawk in the chat saying Bobo got the final shove. Yeah, we got Mike Moe up there too on a double team block with another Seahawk that helps really seal that hole up there too. So yeah, a lot of guys contributing, but I got to give it to Brady Russell on this one. And you can see too, just as Shaheed starts to hit his top speed, like, you can see him recognize that little crevice that he has, and it's created by Russell there, because he kind of has his head leaning one way, and then you can just see him make that decision and go straight upfield.
I have it paused here on YouTube for those that are watching right about the 15, just to see. It's a cool call out too, because it's like he gets the ball kind of going to the right at the goal line, right at the 15-yard line. You could where I have it paused. This is where he's like, okay, that's about to wash out. He just sees like pin action, where he's like, I'm going to predict that I'm about to get the parting of the seas here. And it is kind of neat to see from his spirit, like, it's that cut right here, right?
Yep, he cuts right,
and
just after he crosses the 20.
Yep. So I'll pause it right. He's there, and then he just boop. Yeah. Very nice. He kind of hits he's heading to his left.
Nas right there.
Yeah. And then he's at the 20-yard line where I have a pause. He's about to hit his left leg. It's about to, hit down again. And this is where he decides to kind of get more vertical and stop going horizontal. And then boom, and he's gonzo. So beautiful stuff. Love highlighting that. Love that our Seahawks are playing in all three parts of the game, man. Special teams matter and matter a whole lot. And being the best in the NFL at them matters to me, Brandon.
That is, it's a good thing. Gosh, when you have the points, you take points off the board with the Emmanwori blocked field goal.
Yes,
it was a very elite special teams day. Jay Harbaugh, he can keep coaching another.
He can stay for one more week. All right, let's whammy over to our MVC, the most valuable cranny. All right. So something kind of cool. We put last week we had Drake Thomas win the MVC, again the most valuable cranny, and I won't put the person on blast because I forget who they were anyway. And hey, all comments are nice. They do help the algorithm. Even if you're being a little mean in your comments, it's okay. You could be a little mean. Someone was like, what is the MVC? Why would you hide it? Like, why don't you just tell us what it is? Like a comment that I was like, hey, we've been doing this for like 7 years and it's called the most valuable cranny. And if you're coming to it for the very first time and you don't know what an MVC is, well then, I should and we should remind folks this entire show is about the nooks and the crannies and the individual plays within the plays that maybe set up small or big moments in the game. So the MVC, Brandon, is the most valuable cranny. This week, I think I dropped all the hints I possibly could drop. I could not give it to our boy here. This one's going to Devin Witherspoon, but very specifically for being Captain Destroyo and single-handedly creating an awesome interception. I should put the asterisks with the help of Derek Hall playing volleyball.
We'll add that as a late addition to the engraver. And yeah, man, when you have a defensive back who, again, I point out that stop number, who's really getting in there and holding the opposing team, especially in a game where he's lined up against Kyle Pitts, where he's got to worry about Bijan Robinson. And he's limiting some of those offensive possessions by getting in there, making those tackles, being Captain Destroyo. And Thanks. Then, we called out, I think it was D-Law's PFF scores last time.
Yeah.
And pointing out that he had over 80 in just about every category. Devin Witherspoon, he just about hit that mark too. He had a 95 overall grade, a run defense grade of 78.9, tackling grade of 80, pass rush grade of 90, a coverage grade of 94. So yeah, he almost went 5 for 5 over 80, but very nice day for Devin Witherspoon.
Yeah, it was awesome. And he is clearly fully back and fully healthy. And with the full-on complement that McDonald's is able to deploy, he's kind of back to year one disruption Witherspoon, which is really, really, it's great for us. And that's bad news for the rest of our opponents in the regular season and those we're going to go face in the postseason, because that is coming up sooner than later. So he will win the MVC. We're going to print that very real 3D printed trophy. This is number 10 on the year, Brandon. The 3D printer is the first couple of years, we kind of, we're like, all right, we think we'll break even on this investment. But at this point, I think we are dollar cost averaging our way to a very healthy investment with the 3D printer. This will go out to the VMAC. It'll be in his locker room probably by tomorrow. And we're sure you'll see it on social media.
Yep, we're getting our money's worth out of that super expensive 3D printer
for the very real, very, very real trophy for the most valuable cranny. All right, Brandon, we are about to head to From the Flock, where we're going to read the ins and outs from our amazing flockers who hang out with us, not just on game day, but all throughout the week. In fact, all throughout the year. But let's talk to folks. What can they do if they want to be a member? What should they do to raise the hawk, Brandon?
Yeah, if you recognize the need for us to have a very real 3D printed trophy and 3D printer to print that trophy at a very exorbitant cost, we need your support. You can go to getintheflock.com, help support the show. You get to be part of our Discord. You get some value out of it too. And then you get to know too that when I have to go to the engraver for an extra line, you're helping to make that happen.
And as the listeners of this show and other shows likely understand, I can be verbose, right? Sometimes I say stuff. So we really do need you to pitch in. It's the giving season. For the engraving alone, getintheflock.com. Let's see you out there. So we are going to head to From the Flock. This is when we stop talking and we start reading what you had to say during game day. So Brandon, if you want to take it away, we got Car leading us out.
She's kicking us off with the in. Julian Love is back. We didn't see many big plays by Julian, but we got to also see some Ty Okada in the lineup as well. But just nice to have that captain of the defense back out there. Spring Mix coming in with the out. Kubiak continuing to call long developing plays on 3rd and long, deep in our own territory. Not ideal. I like to touch my Bobo out. The offensive script, at least the first 3 plays to start the game. Spring Mix coming back in with the entire defense, patting Darnold on the head and saying it's all good on his way to the sideline after the Q2 interception. They had his back. And 12th man records out, 3 and out on the first drive. In on that 3rd down, Sam's field awareness stepping out of the end zone and taking a sack instead of trying to do too much. Yeah, he could have chosen to try and throw it over the middle or do something silly. No, he took the sack. They got it down the 1 yard line. You let Michael Dixon punch it out of the end zone with his foot and give it back to the other team, but much better than turning it over.
I like when people punch things with their feet. That makes me very happy. One piece that I do want to call out here too, which I thought was just an interesting topic, was it's kind of a 2-parter, but the interception that Darnold threw, like later on, people, they were even Coach McDonald was like, oh yeah, not a great decision, but Arroyo's got to do more. And then others, I heard some other pundits like, oh yeah, Arroyo's got to do more there. I've been like the biggest Arroyo critic. I didn't love the pick, and so far to me, whatever, like we're 10-3. I'm not going to go to negative land. I didn't love the pick, and that's fine. I've been a vocal critic of the selection and kind of the fit of the move tight end, but I still got to put that aside and be like, how is that on Arroyo? He's trying to go horizontal. Sam just should not throw that ball. Now, the other flip side with the part 2 is I thought there were 3 times in this game where Sam got on his horse and either got first downs with his feet when we needed them, or there was one later in the game where he got like a nice 8-yard run and had like that perfect baseball slide. So I just want to kind of flip it back to the positive and say, hey, saw a little bit more of Sammy Bear using his feet to punch things forward for us, Brandon.
Yep, punching things with your feet. It's a theme. We've got a live out from Marlon saying out. Nick not catching the first easy pick. That was a couple games ago, I believe. In, Nick learning and getting it later. And Yokai Hawk saying in, 0 defensive penalties until the 3 boneheads in the nearly final possession.
Right. And Yokai Hawk, good. Thank you for putting that in now, because I actually kept it out of, you put that in the Discord too, and I kept it out because you had some others. And when we're up, here's my policy. When you're up 37-9, I just don't give a damn, but it's okay. But you do. And this is your section. And we appreciate you chiming in every week and being a cool member, dude. We got Darnold Duck in. Darnold splitting the DBs with the run. Well, there we have it. At the end of the first half, did not know he had that tool in his bag. Oh yeah, DD. He could boogie. We got Amy, Design Pete's Beach House. I just saw her just check in live. Hello, Amy. She says, out. Kubiak not calling plays to keep it easier against the blitz. Obviously, second half that changed, but good call out there. And we got Frost, Ryan 911. Our coach in the Discord, in Bunny for wishing that Shaheed kickoff return into existence. So Bunny is another member of the flock where the conversation was happening. And Brandon, it sounds like maybe it was the mudslides, maybe it was Bunny, maybe it was the combination of both those things. What do you think?
I like to think so.
Me too.
We all had a little bit of something to do with it. We got Car with the in second half. Sam Darnold, right hand Dan in. Darnold looking much more confident in the second half. And another in from right hand Dan. There's not a single offense in this league that I fear. And got Zero Hawk just slamming the in button to Nick Emmanwori.
He realizes he can't do that here because Chatbot. Chatbot will get you.
Nightbot will get you. But
Nightbot,
yeah.
right? Something maybe one of these years I'll get that right. Nightbot's going to get me for messing that one up. But Nightbot will say you can't spam that, but on our Discord, spam away. Heck, go ahead, have some fun with it. Speaking of some fun, we got Michael Knight, who's also, I think he's here with us live. I think I saw him too. Yeah, Michael is a huge fan of Drake Thomas, and he has been shouting from the rooftops that Emmanwori is going to be a great pick. He says, Eman became the first football player to record a tackle for a loss, interception, and a sack since 2010. And then, of course, I think if you put that caveat of the block field goal, I think he's the only dude to ever do that. Like those 4 things in a game. I know that Leo did it, but it was the extra points. He had the same thing with that.
I think was it? I thought it was back in '92 or there's. Yeah, I think there was one other person that did it. It was either in the early 2000s or the '90s.
Well, okay. I mean, I know that the Adrian Wilson one, but that did not include the blocked field goal.
Okay.
Is my understanding.
Adrian Wilson was the name that was coming to mind. But
okay, either way, beautiful stuff by E-Man, and we love it. We got Amy again, Design Pete's Beach House in KK, which is Clint Kubiak, making the adjustments at the half. Certainly did. Looked really smooth in that second half. The things that were working were like, oh, we're back under center. Oh, there's play action. Oh, Sam Darnold has a pocket thingy, and lo and behold, Shaheed's open for like 20 yarders. JSN's open on crossers, and things just looked much, much healthier and smoother. We got in from Northwest Gambit, JSN forcing AJ Terrell to give up not just 1, but 2 touchdowns on the day. The only touchdowns he has given up all season. Brandon, JSN now has 9 touchdowns on this year, and he's still cooking.
Yeah, we got to get him to double digits here. Yes. And it's going to be tough to run down Devontae, but yeah, he can make a run at it. Marlon coming in with a live in. Clinton having enough mudslides to make the Discord interesting and a little bit weird. Moving on over to Frost. Woolen with the in. Excited on the sideline, cheering for the second team offense after playing one heck of a game himself. Yeah, we hadn't mentioned Reek Woolen to this point. So,
and he played good.
He had a very nice game. In Clinton drinking on game day?
Yeah.
In fantastic placement for Dixon's last punt of the day.
Nice.
And an in 10-3. Living the good life with an in, matching our win total from last season with 4 weeks left. Take that, Earl. And Bunny in continuing to smash our preseason over under with 4 weeks left.
Yeah, we had I forget the name, and I should have written it down, but one of our listeners ended up putting, I won a little bit of, I put like an $80 bet preseason on Seattle to win over 8.5 at plus 130. So I took 80 and made it like $180 or something like that. Nice little win, which is cool. It went to my trip in Florida. We had one of our flockers won 9,000. So put up way more Scott Ohl, and good for them. And hey, put your money where your hawker is. The Woolen call out from Frost very, very quickly. Yes, he barks at the guy after he makes a nice physical hit, and we'd like to see him not get that penalty. But I do like that Woolen is hitting better, Brandon. He's just tackling better. Like last 5-6 weeks, he's been a great man corner, just a good corner. And his physicality, to me, has markedly improved. And it's tangible to me, dude. So I just wanted to call that out because we did not give any flowers to Bull in this game, but he's been playing some darn good football. All right, we got Yokai Hawk saying, Coach Jay, 4 more weeks. A running gag in the Discord, of course, for Jay Harbaugh, as we continue to have just outstanding special teams. Yokai Hawk in Jay Money, pounding kick after kick into the red seat zone in Bobo's cleanup on aisle 4. Springing Shaheed's 100-yarder, which he commented live just now too. And they talk about the stupid penalties. I guess we did include it. That, again, they were very late in the game, so they're okay. I could forgive those. I like when my teams play hard, and if you're going to get a taunting penalty, do it when you're up big at least.
We've got Michael Knight coming in with a question for you with Adrian Wilson. I think, do you guys have something going on with college and knowing where dudes went to college?
Michael Knight loves to. Well, Michael Knight's a very proud Wolfpack alumni. So NC State, just as I am a very proud UConn alum, Michael Knight likes to make sure everybody understands when someone is from NC State, even to the point when Phillip Rivers was being peeled off, peeled off being a grandfather. Michael Knight commented, "Hey, do you know where he went to school?" And yes, NC State, the Wolfpack, bringing lots of good players to the NFL. So I'm guessing, my guess is Adrian Wilson must have been a fellow NC Stater.
Yeah, you would be correct there. Just as we are correct to call out and bring in Hawk Van Dyke, closing things out with the in, allowing only 1 of 13 third down conversions. How about the Seahawks defense?
Hey, Brandon, what's 13 minus 1?
12.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
12. Yeah. It's 12. Yes, it is. Well, that sure was absolutely a ton of fun. So, and Michael, I see you there saying UConn great season. Darn straight, man. We won 9 games and we're going to be taking on Army at the Fenway, the Wasabi Fenway Bowl on December 27th. So, as much as I respect
the
Army,
classic Wasabi Fenway Bowl.
Look, if you're going to do anything at Fenway, it might as well be greenish related, right? So, but it's kind of fun. We get to play a football game at Fenway. Terrible vantage points. It's going to be freezing. I will not be there, but go Huskies, beat Army. What can I say? But for our Seahawks, Brandon, now we get to go play. Start to turn the page on this a little bit. We'll start to focus on the Colts. But it's kind of difficult to focus on a Colts team that just lost their quarterback and is spiraling. I was going to say starting to spiral. They're spiraling. They got waxed by the Jaguars. Maybe the more interesting thing to kind of close out on is earlier in the year when we beat the pants off the Jaguars and earlier in the year when we beat the pants off the Texans. Hey, Brandon, lo and behold, those are probably playoff teams now. So maybe those wins were actually quality wins and we just beat the pants off of pretty good teams.
The Texans one still felt legit at the time based on the defense, and the way that because we scored quite a few points against that Texans defense. Yes. And so that one, even though they weren't on the right side of the record, that one felt good at the time. The Jaguars, man, I don't know.
They're 9-4, right? Is that correct? Is that
somehow,
yeah. Right? I don't know. It's going to be an interesting week.
I don't get that one for sure.
I don't either, but they're playing better. And, Cohen's got him playing good ball and Lawrence is playing better and they're running the ball more effectively. That's lo and behold, man, this happens every single year, Brandon. We get to December and it's like, who's healthy? Who's playing good defense? Who's running the football? And then you look around and go, oh, like a team like the Packers. And the only problem potentially with our Seahawks team is we are, knock on wood, we're healthy. We're obviously playing good football. We'll still run the ball okay. Yeah, it's like we could still get that next gear.
Still get there. Yeah.
Yeah, because you do go watch a team like the Jaguars and all of a sudden Etienne's going bananas and it takes that load off of what is a middle of the road quarterback, right? Where I think Sam is better than Trevor. But it's going to be very interesting to watch. It's going to be a fun week. Only 4 weeks to go. This is as simple as it gets. Like we put up that poll to start the whole thing, Brandon. What are we going to be? 1-3, 2-2, 3-1, 4-0. Only one of those permutations is our guarantee to us being the 1 seed. And I think you know which one that is, Brandon.
Hey, we got to go 4-0, baby. Close this out. Go on to the playoffs. And Clinton, I think if we go 4-0 in this December/January, there's one place where I see this team going.
Yeah, me too, buddy. That is back to the Super Bowl. And I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.